The following program is a production of Naleo TV.
And aloha, welcome to my show. Today's going to be really exciting. Today, instead of doing underwater life like turtles and dolphins and manta rays and that kind of stuff, the stuff that I've been doing, what I'm going to do today is really exciting for me because I do tikis. I'm going to show you how to get the highlights and the shadows back here, get all that detail in there and stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to work on this tiki today. This is an 11 by 14. This is actually a canvas board that we're working on today. I've already primed it. I've already got the artwork on there. But before we start, I want to give a shout out to a couple of fans that told me that they watch the show all the time. Val and Glenda, thank you so much, guys, for watching the show. I really appreciate it. Love the kind words and all that stuff. So if anybody else out there is watching and you want to shout out to me, let me know that you're watching the show. Write to Naleo TV, and they will let me know. If there's any questions, anything like that, be more than happy to answer them. So let's just get right into this. I'm going to start off with my famous filbert brush, the one that I love the most. I'm going to start with a little bit of dark brown here and a little bit of medium brown. And I'm just going to throw this in here like this, starting in the middle where it's going to be a medium brown. Bring that down here like this. And you can see that I'm not really particular about shapes and all that stuff just yet. I'm just going to throw a bunch of color down here and follow my lines. But you'll notice that I'm not painting all the way up to that white line so that I can see the separation of where I need to go. Bring this in here. See, when I'm painting the turtles and the whales and manta rays and stuff like that, there's really not a whole lot of this because there's not a lot of light underground. So what we're going to do is we're going to assume that the light is coming from this here. So this side of his body will be all light and this side over here will be darker. So now I'm taking the darker brown and I'm just going to put that in there. And then I'm going to draw that into the medium brown and then blend it as I go. Because remember, this is the dark side. By the way, this is a bigger painting, so this is going to end up being a two-part show. So if you come in later, whatever, and you go, hey, I missed it, I'm going to finish it up on the next show. Now right now I'm just barely touching it, just dragging the brush over so you can see how it's already starting to get dark to light like that. Just barely touching it draws it over there. And again, I've said this many times, but I work I wet on wet, so I can keep blending it until it's dry. And now I know you might be asking, but you're painting brown on a brown background. But just like in that sample I showed you, I'm going to put a black outline. And then when I'm done with that, I'm going to put a white outline because I love the way the black outline and the white outline go together and they just pop. You may also have noticed that I'm using a palette that I've already got paint on because I was painting yesterday. Before you got here. Where's my gun? Oh, that's red. That's good. Painted a couple of tikis yesterday, so I have them for the gallery. So now we're going to come in here to the eye and just start with the dark brown. Bring that in. Go into the medium. This is actually a red oxide, which is, they call it red because it's a reddish brown. See how I'm almost erasing? Get it into that nice blended color right there. Now normally you would put dark medium and then light, but because I'm going into this crevice of his eye, I'm going to go back to the dark brown and blend that in. See how it's got that nice shape to it right there? It almost looks round. Cool. And then I'm going to show you a little trick. What I'm doing is I'm letting this red oxide right here, I'm letting that dry a little bit. Like this is already dry. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit more red oxide and I'm just going to brush that in there like that. And then brush it right into the wet paint here. And blend it. I don't want a heavy, dark shadow right there. I want it to be nice and notice how if I'm down here and then I keep going back up like this, that's to keep the continuity of the whole piece, to bring that up in there so that it all looks natural and organic. Again, using my paper towel to wipe off the excess paint. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here with my orange and I'm going to go up here to the highlight area. I'll bring the orange in straight. And then grab a little bit of this. Now I'm going in with my light brown. I'm going to put a little bit right there. While that's still wet, then I'm going to take the red oxide and bring that back in. And you might be thinking, but wood doesn't actually have a highlight. It doesn't, but this is a painting. And I'm an artist, so I get to make up the rules as I go, so. And so can you. Yeah. Now, this top piece of the crown, you might be tempted to put the highlight all the way down in here, but I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that like that. When you're painting, it's a really good idea to understand perspective and what things actually do. So when I show you this, you can see that the light is shining right here, and it's barely peeking over that and shining over the top, but not into that. Cool. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix a little bit of orange with my light brown so I can get this, because this is not going to be as bright. Grab a little bit of the red oxide to blend it out. It's kind of warm today, so it's drying a little quicker than. And notice this scrubbing technique that I'm using, so I can blend that out like that. Makes it a little bit smoother when I do that, yeah? And same thing right there. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to put any highlights in that little crevice there between his eyebrow and the crown. It's not necessary. Makes it look a little deeper right here. See how that shadow right there? Isn't that cool? Look, oh man, I like this. See, if I work on just one piece at a time, it's so much easier. I try to get all those done so I can get them all to match. Now this eye, we're going to start in the corner where it's dark. And that circular motion helps to blend that all out and then go flat on it. See how that nice, look how nice that looks. Wow. know if you just saw what I just did. I have more paint on the bottom, the other side of the brush. So what I did is I flipped it over. See that paint right there? So I can literally use that. The hard part about working brown on brown is that you have to make sure that you get all that paint in there. See, there's a piece right there that I missed. It's not easy to see all that stuff, even with these Coke bottle glasses that I'm wearing. These are actually magnifiers, so I can see everything real close. Now this side is dark, so I'm going to keep it that way. See how there's a brim or a berm of paint right there? So what I'm doing is I'm just going to go in and drag that into the paint or the painting, and that way I'm kind of pulling that off. And then I can wipe it off here. See the difference between the dark to light, but this isn't as light as that. Again, the light is coming in that way. Now we've got a couple of small spots in there that are screaming at me for some black, so I'm gonna take my outliner brush and I'm just gonna dab some black in these crevices here, which will end up, when I outline the whole thing, they'll end up getting the one-shot, the sign painter's paint that I used to do that. Get his little nostrils going in here. See the crevices in there between that separates the face. Oh, a couple more. This is black down here. This, because it's shaped weird, what I'm going to do, you see how I'm doing the dark up against that, and then I brought this around here like that, so it's going to become light here and then dark here, so we're showing the back side of it as we pull the light color. never realized that I flip my brush as much as I do. Because I brought it up, now I see it all. Now see how that looks more 3D? See how it looks like it's rounded right there? See how that, you see if you took a rope and did that, it would have the highlight here and it would be the dark right there, and then it would flip over and then the highlight comes up here and then it appears back over there. Really cool. What I want to do is I want to show the shadow under his chin, how it's coming across his chest right here. Get that kind of straight line like that, which makes it, let's get a little darker. One of the reasons why I'm lifting it up to show you so that I can see, because the lights in here are shining right down on top of this and they're reflecting. I just took a look up at his nose and it looks really cool. I don't know where it came from, but for some reason, even when I'm tattooing, I will do something down here and look back up there to make sure everything blends together and it looks like it was all cohesive and done on purpose. And I did that with painting. I'm not sure if that was some teacher that told me that or my father. He says, you got to keep looking where you're going and where you've been. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Somebody ran into me. Okay, they didn't run into me, but they came up to me one day and they were asking me, like, they said, how long have you been painting? Because I watched your show and it looks like you've been doing it a long time, because it doesn't look like you think about what you're doing, you just do it. And I said, well, I started painting when I was 5. I was not very good at it when I was 5. But over the years, what's that, 61 years now I've been painting. So I keep developing my style to try and figure out what I like to do and the way I like to do it that works best for me. And if you paint, that's what you should do. Try and figure out what works for you. Just because somebody says, hey, do this, that. Because I do a lot of things I was told not to do. Not just with painting. We're not going to see any highlight right here from his crotchal area to his leg, so I'm going to keep that relatively dark. I'm not going to go completely dark, but are done for this show. How cool is that? You see all the nice highlights on this side and the shadows on that side? How nice and cohesive everything looks. Next up, we'll paint in the teeth and then outline it. Thank you for joining me. Ahui ho.
The preceding program was a production of Naleo TV.